Good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another webinar from us here at GemRain Consulting. So, first of all, my name is Gerald. I will be your presenter, okay, for this particular short 2-hour webinar. Okay, so now let me talk about the first thing about understanding the foundations of Gen AI. Okay, for business leaders. Remember that this particular course, this show, right, is about for business leaders. How do we implement AI transformation for leaders? Okay. All right. So of course, this is from the perspective of Microsoft. All right. So first of all, well, it's my duty to ask you what is AI. So I'm sure by now everyone says, come on, everyone should have known what is AI by now, right? So of course, AI would be things or all things that most humans do on a day-to-day basis, but often subconsciously, but now a software or a machine that will emulate us to do that. Okay, so things again that we do, for example, we make predictions or we recognize patterns, okay, using any information we have available, or maybe our past experience, we use all this information and experience to help guide us. And that is how we recognize patterns and we can make predictions, right? And we can get a machine to do that today, right? And we can intuitively know when something isn't quite right, something doesn't fit, right? Or maybe it is out of our expected pattern, right? Or we use our vision, our sight to experience the world around us. We communicate by writing and speaking, right? And engage in dynamic conversations, right? And we can respond appropriately. And we can extract information from different sources, right? And then maybe we can combine them, we can dissect them, and to extend our knowledge. Now, all these experiences which I've mentioned, right, today, the machine can emulate that. It's a piece of software or a platform that imitates all these capabilities. That's AI, right? So basic AI concepts, of course, right, like I said, that it's a set of capabilities that help the computers to perform tasks that once required human judgment, right? For example, understanding language, recognizing images, spotting patterns, making recommendations, and many more. So for a business leader, for an HOD, for a C-suite level, a key decision maker. Now, the point isn't for you to adopt the algorithm or understand all the technical building blocks of it, right? You might be not a technical person. So this is where these capabilities, right, you already understood, okay? But how do I make this capabilities to be able to deliver real outcomes faster than us humans doing it? For example, faster decisions, help make better customer experiences, and maybe help lower the cost to serve our customer. So Gen AI, right, the generative AI that we're talking about today is just a subset of the normal AI. Now, in fact, AI started way back in the 1960s, back in the 1960s, right, when the proliferation of computers or machines, people already talk about AI. And of course, the so-called the father of AI, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have known this name called Alan Turing, all right? So this guy was the one who kind of like envisioned, right, the extension of the capabilities of a machine is just not to run a piece of dead software, which is with following a pre-programmed path, but is able to adapt capabilities of us humans, all right? At least certain senses of a human, and they are able to do that, okay? So what is generative AI then? So Gen AI is just a subset, a cornerstone of an AI that allow us to create new content such as new text, code, images, videos, and many more, okay? And this actually help powers new productivity and creativity scenarios, all right? So they are able to create novel content. And generative, it means it's continuously learning and adapting based on how we respond to the results given, all right? And that is why it is the AI today, right? It keeps evolving. It has kept on evolving until now. All right. So it is already the 4th year, going into the 5th year of generative AI. Right. The explosion was started with ChatGPT. right? Way back at the end of 2022. All right, so yep, I would say that this year, November 30th, is the fourth birthday of ChatGPT. That's a pioneer, so-called the start of the explosion where everything is right now. And of course, GPT being the pioneer model, it is adopted by Microsoft. And of course, Microsoft today, it's like a pool, like a collector of all these models. Whichever model that is good, that is, famous, or it's actually productive and powerful, Microsoft will get their hands on it. All right. And of course, behind the scene, there are many more open source models which you never see it directly on Copilot. So those of you who do have a Microsoft Copilot subscription, whether you pay it, okay, you have paid for it, or it comes free out of your Microsoft 365, you will see Copilot chat there, right? So the free ones, of course, already allowing you to select the default auto model and also allow you to jump right into OpenAI GPT models. You can pre-select, or choose among the version 5.3, 5.5, and whatnot. All right, so those are directly from OpenAI. But if you paid for the premium license of Microsoft 365 Copilot, you will even get to access Anthropic models, the Claude models. So today, Microsoft actually has partnership with both GPT and OpenAI and Anthropic. But I heard that the partnership with OpenAI is already shaky and it's going to end soon. I'm not so sure what's going to be the future of OpenAI after that. But OpenAI, just a week, within this week, they have announced the new launching of their version 5.6 with the revampment and the rebuilding of the entire ChatGPT. They came out with something called ChatGPT Work, because everybody's now going into, getting AI to help us do work already. All right. Gone were the days for the first 2 years where people talking about typing in a prompt, I get the answer. Type a question, I get an answer. So it's no longer just Q&A for the AI. Today, AI is going to help us perform tasks, help us do work. All right. So Microsoft has something called Co-work, which was which was originated from Anthropic's Claude Cowork. So Cowork, there are two, the same name, one, okay, which was founded by Claude. So Claude Cowork came out first, then Copilot, followed through by calling it Cowork as well. Now ChatGPT call it just work. They call it ChatGPT Work. Right? Those of you who have installed the desktop version of ChatGPT on your computer, you would have realized again that the old ChatGPT is now called ChatGPT Classic, and the new ChatGPT is called ChatGPT Code. All right, the Codex or the ChatGPT Work. All right, but let's not get too technical into this. All right, because I'm supposed to talk about this in my afternoon session. Later on at 2 o'clock, I'm going to have another session for AB 730. That one talks specifically on Copilot in Microsoft 365. So this is actually the session about driving transformation for business leaders, all right? AI transformation. So ultimately, I'm going to go through some of the various technologies, the AI technologies by Microsoft. So AI foundations, I do not want to bore you guys with all this dry information like theory. Of course, as you guys know, the backbone of AI, right? Of course, it's a field of study called data science. So data science is an interdisciplinary field whose aim is to achieve AI. All right, so there are many, many techniques. Mostly we talk about machine learning, deep learning, and all that. All right, so what is machine learning? Of course, machine learning from the name implies a technique where the machine itself will be ingested with huge amounts of data and using these data to find patterns. And this technique is frequently used for many, many AI purposes. For example, email spam detection. It's all machine learning, right? So they can look for patterns where email contains certain words like the word free or guarantee or something like that. So this will allow the AI to flag, right, that this email might be a spam, right? Or maybe in the finance sector, okay, credit card fraud detection. So again, machine learning could look for patterns like the spending in a particular postcode. Maybe the owner doesn't really visit there, and suddenly went on a buying spree, shopping spree. So yeah, these are all red flags, and it can guide the machine to flag that might be a fraud. Okay, so yeah, all these the technicalities of what is behind AI. So I've answered this question already. I do not know why this slide keeps on popping up. I was not the person who created this slide. These are official Microsoft Learn slides for the MCT, like me to present. So I've mentioned this earlier. What is Gen AI? So allowing us to create text, images, audio, code beyond predictions. It learns patterns from massive amounts of data sets powered by machine learning in the background. And today it is helping humans drive innovation across different sectors. So the backbone of Gen AI is what we call LLM, right? Which is large language model, right? Not the LLM that we know of in Malaysia. That's our Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia. Okay, that's our highway council. Okay, but no, this is large language model, right? And of course, the opposite is an SLM. Very rarely people heard of SLM because that's S stands for small. Small language models is popularized because of devices. Do you know that we can actually go on to Microsoft Azure? If you subscribe to Azure AI Foundry, today they dropped the word AI, they just call it Foundry. The Microsoft Foundry is where they host a catalog, right? A model catalog. They host all the catalogs of famous LLMs up there, including their Microsoft own SLM called Microsoft Phi, spelled as PHI. So Microsoft Phi is one of the SLM, small model, right? Lightweight version that can be downloaded and then running on a small device like a mobile phone or even on a laptop, right? And you do not need to have internet access because the entire model is downloaded, right, and then uploaded running on your own mobile phone. So any chats, any prompts being supplied to it, it is processed directly on your device. That's a small language model, right? So the Microsoft Foundry, right, is a great place for developers, your technical people, if you intend to build your own AI solutions. You do not want to power with the ChatGPT API, or you just want to grab the whole model and then you want to build your solution on top of the model, right? You could get it from the Foundry. And it's from the Microsoft Foundry where you can even find very, very proprietary models, but yet they are open source. For example, China's DeepSeek is also in Foundry, right? And there are many other models, not just language models, but even image models, right? Like the stable diffusion, for imagery and whatnot. So there are so many open source models up there, okay? Some of the models you may not have heard of, okay? So let's focus on all the solutions, okay? The popular commercial solutions that you guys have heard of. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So of course, it all started with Microsoft Copilot. But let me tell you this. The word Copilot, right? The name Copilot, okay, actually started with number 3, It all started from GitHub. GitHub was the first one that uses the word Copilot. That time in Microsoft 365, right, it used to be called Bing Chat. There's no word Copilot for that. So the AI that was attached to Microsoft products, right? They kind of like as a pioneer, they started implementation with the brand Bing, right? They call it Bing Chat, right? Then of course, when they wanted to, kind of like standardize, okay, the branding, they want to kind of like, come up with one single solid branding, and they take the Copilot, the word Copilot from GitHub, and now it's everywhere. They standardize everywhere. And sometimes I hated this this strategy whereby Microsoft put Copilot in, like I say, everywhere and everything. It's so confusing. Do you know Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot is different? And do you know that we in the training industry, right? I always are very cautious. When I got a client, right, kind of like call us or email us, hey, do you have training on Copilot? Now our first answer to them is a question. I say, wait, hang on. Which Copilot are you talking about? All right. Number one, we've got Copilot under Microsoft 365 Copilot. And then there's another one called Copilot Studio. Copilot and Copilot Studio are two different things. Copilot Studio allows you to build your own agent. That's a separate requirement. Those are that platform is for people who aspires to build your own AI agents to serve a certain purpose. But if you just want to use the commercial, ready-made, off-the-shelf Copilot, that's Microsoft 365 Copilot. And this Microsoft Copilot here, right, is a generic name given and understood that you have 365 Copilot. But to me, Microsoft Copilot, right, might mean the basic or the free Copilot. Now, let me show you something here. Okay, let me show you something here. As I press my start button here, right, I want you to pay attention to not all my programs or whatever here. Look at my taskbar down here. Of course, I got many things here. Okay, you can see I've got Gemini. This is a logo for Gemini. I've got Claude. I've got Perplexity. You know, I've got ChatGPT. Fine. But look at the first two. Can I say this? Looks the same, right? Now look at this. This is called Copilot. This one, Microsoft 365 Copilot. Look at that. So if you don't believe me, right, if I click on this, it launches my free Copilot. Look at that. This is my free Copilot. Nice to see you, Gerald. What's new? Right? And you can see if I go down at the bottom left here, when I click my account, this is my personal email address. Right? And this is actually my Copilot that is attached to the personal one, not the working Microsoft 365. Okay? And again, now if I click on this, look at the icon. The icon of that colorful rainbow logo, the famous Copilot logo, right? There's an M365 label there. So that's the difference. When I click on this, it launches this one. This is my Microsoft 365 Copilot. Different thing. This is also Copilot. Yep. I got Smart, I got Think Deeper, I got Study and Learn, I got Search. Yep. But this is Microsoft 365 Copilot with Work IQ now because I'm a premium subscriber. I paid for it, right? So in this case, I can turn off Work IQ. I can turn off and on, right? So when I off it means I can search on the web solely, based on web. But if I turn on Work IQ means I want to ground the knowledge of my Copilot, right, with my work data, so that now I can click plus sign here, I can add work content, and I'm able to see people in my company, files, I can look into my Teams meetings, I can go and look into my emails, I can go to my chats, all that, right? So, but if I off my Work IQ, then now when I click the plus sign and when I click add work content, I do not have those differentiation, no filtering, only files. All right. And of course, Jody asked, is there a training for Microsoft 365 Copilot? Yes, I train this a lot of times. Okay, in fact, I prescribe my own. I'm a curator of my own Microsoft 365 Copilot. The official ones for Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn has their own official ones. Those are like one day, and all that. But here, we at GemRain, we do lots of customization. We serve a lot of our customers whereby they do not want the standard syllabus that is available on Microsoft. So they come to us and say, hey, look, I do not want this, I want that. My team is like this. Now, a lot of times, right, we get a lot of requests like, okay, my team, we already know Copilot, but we want to actually drill down by roles and department. Do you have, like, for example, a Copilot for marketing only? So one day. The next one, okay, do you have a Copilot 365 Copilot training for HR, for sales, for supply chain? No, for this kind of thing, because we're no longer at the era where AI awareness, gone were the awareness, no more awareness. Everybody is aware already. Now people knows Copilot. Everybody has tried prompting. They do not no longer want to learn how to prompt, even though prompting is still very important. In fact, if you join some of these Copilot trainings, right, it's still the essence of prompting. But you want to learn how do I actually make one prompt and then leads to another prompt and many, many prompts which all form a workflow. Okay, a workflow that will give me a complete solution to help me achieve what I want for the day. Right? So these are practically, okay, the different type of trainings that we have, but focusing on, of course, Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, this Copilot, the free ones, come on. Now, this is for the leisure. There is no work IQ here. There's nothing. You can see that the suggestion: compose a song, organize thoughts, create an image, take a quiz. So yeah, this is really for the free version, which is tied or linked to your personal account. Let me close this. But this one with the work IQ, now I turn off. But if I turn it back on, when you click plus, I can add work content, and it's all my work. They're able to go into my meetings, all my team's meetings, right? And I can even siphon through my emails. I can attach one email, right? For example, I attach this malaria data set. I've got one email with this title, okay, because I trained, right, for Microsoft Fabric. So they send me an email about this malaria data set, right? And they expect me to conduct a training based on the malaria data set. So the email title is this. So now when I attach here, right, I can now prompt Copilot, right, to help me, hey, what does this email talk about? So I can attach a couple of emails, right? And the most important thing, right, what makes work IQ? You see, the term work IQ is a new name given to the old Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph is still the API behind the scene. But today they come up with a glamorous brand name, right? They call it work IQ. Work IQ represents all your work data within your Microsoft 365. For example, files that you upload in OneDrive and SharePoint, all your SharePoint sites, okay, all your emails, all your Teams meetings, all your Teams chats, discussions, channels, whatever. All these are your essence, the main data in your Microsoft 365 tenancy, right? And of course, everything is protected. Whatever that I'm doing here, right, you can see there's always a green check here. It says enterprise data protection applies to this chat. All right. So one thing good about this, right, is that you do not need to worry about, hey, if I go and upload my file and all that, will Microsoft be able to access and leak out my data? Well, you see, your work IQ, right, is only focusing on all these work content you already have this all the while on the cloud, right? If you are worried about all these data will be leaked out, or privacy issues or whatever, you do not need to wait until today to ask this question. When the very first day when Microsoft introduced Cloud 365, right, you should ask this question already. Hey, is it safe? I upload my files to OneDrive. Don't think about AI leaking here and there. No, you should have asked this many years ago, more than 10 years ago. Why ask now? Right? So this is actually sometimes when people come to my class, right, they're talking, hey, safe, this AI, this Copilot. I say it's safe because they are just dealing with the data that you are holding all this while on the cloud. You've been holding on to this record since, 10 years ago when Office 365 started, right? Why don't question then? Why question now? It's a bit weird, right? So what you see here, the Copilot is just operating within your Microsoft 365 boundary. Right? None of the employees of Microsoft who actually sits working in the Microsoft data center, none of them can access all your data. Right? For example, the administrator of, who helped you, let's say, restore a file that you lost in OneDrive. Even that person from Microsoft, okay, who helped you restore that, able to salvage some of the accidentally long gone deleted file from your OneDrive, they're able to salvage it for you because they just restore it from a backup. But that person working there in the data center cannot even read your data. They just take it to restore. They cannot access it. So it is very safe because only you can read that. Only you can access that. All right? So ultimately, when you get AI, the Copilot here, right, to be able to fetch all your data and attach the file, and they're just working and reading your file. That's it. They're reading on behalf of you, all right? And they're reading at lightning speed. So for example, if you work for HR, right, I did this training for HR where we talk about you're doing onboarding. I've got this job interview, okay? I have 20 different resumes to process, all applying for the same job. So how do I screen this candidate? Today, I can upload the file which contains the job description to Copilot. Then 20 people's resume, right, all in PDF or Word, I don't care. I just attach all of them to Copilot. I tell Copilot, look, help me screen all these 20 people's resume, right, and match those according to my uploaded job description. Suggest me the best candidate out of 20 that can fulfill, that is the most suitable for this job. That's it. When Copilot is doing the work, you just sit back and relax. Wait for the recommendation. And then after the recommendation came out, you can follow up with a prompt and say, hey, tell me, okay, and justify why do you say that this candidate is the strongest out of all? Okay, give me a justification. Explain to me in how many key points. These are all things, all questions you can ask, right? While all this while, if you do not have Copilot with you, you have to manually screen through and compare 20 files. You got 20 resumes, but you only have a pair of eyes, right? And one brain. So ultimately, this is just a very lightning fast assistant that helps you speed up all this process. Okay? So this is how HR screen candidates today. Well, I'm not saying that every company is doing that, okay? But those very, very frontier, where I use the word frontier because I follow Microsoft, those frontier-based company, that means company which is so modern that they have fully adopted AI. I wouldn't be surprised they have already, used this methodology. They have adopted AI to do all this. These are all part of their so-called automation. Okay, but I wouldn't say that every company is doing that, all right? Because if let's say AI can successfully help do everything fully automated, that unit which does, the onboarding and all that, right? I think they can be fully dismissed. Okay, so fully running on AI. All right, and you know what? Back in my own company, back in GemRain here, okay, I'm doing a little bit of testing here, okay, because if I were to show something, right, I've even created my own agent that is called a sales agent. I can create multiple sales agent that works like a human. And you know what? This sales agent, right, is really, really too efficient until 11:30 p.m. at night. I was about to go to bed, right? I still get a Teams message, ding dong. And when I go into Teams, I say, who is the one who messages me? And I saw this AI sales agent. Tell me, what is my next task? I can help you do a product a specification checklist, and I can help you do this. I can help you do that. So the AI agent feels very, very boring when it's idle. They are hungry for more job. So I can kind of like share to you something here. Let me share to you something from. Let me show you this. Okay, again, I go to this part here, right? In my apps here, I go to more app. And part of the apps here, I will just go to my org explorer. I'll show you my organization here, okay? Just kind of show you. It's just for an experimentation purpose. I haven't fully implemented that. So these are people who are reporting to me. These are all my trainers and all that. Can you see this guy? GemRain AI sales agent. It's really like an employee. So I was thinking, hey, wow, this is cool. And based on my license, right, I can create 20 of these fellas. That means I can have 20 sales agents, just like a salesperson, running around doing electronic sales, online sales. And they're all AI. And they're working 24/7. I do not need to pay any salary to this fella, but I need to pay licenses, of course. Okay, that's something like that, right? So there are many instances today which I read, okay, whereby people have successfully created different agents to assume different roles, right? An agent that is the COO, an agent that is doing HR, an agent doing this. So they set up a company, right, that's fully manned and powered by AI. And some of these people who claim that they are already generating revenue, which is what I read. I didn't see it, so I'm not so sure. If you ask me, do you believe it? So I don't know whether to believe or not lah. All right. So that's what I read anyway. Okay. So remember, Copilot is everywhere, and a lot of times, okay, when you are kind of confused, hey, Copilot, which Copilot? You see, Azure AI, fine, that's on Azure. They talk about chatbots, and that's the one that I told you about, Foundry. Your GitHub Copilot, even Dynamics 365 got Copilot, Power Platform got Copilot. So the name Copilot is everywhere, guys. And you know what? I used to actually crack a joke saying that when Microsoft calls it Copilot, I was thinking, one day, right, there should be an autopilot already. And you know what? Those were the days when I thought it was a joke, but it really happened. Microsoft is now envisioning autopilot. They came out with the first solution called Microsoft Scout. Now, let me show you this. When I press my start button, you can see I got Microsoft Scout here. I just installed that, but I haven't got the time to go and set it all up. Microsoft Scout is a fully autonomous AI running 24 by 7, sitting in your cloud and monitoring any cybersecurity threats, any problems, okay, with your Windows devices. So this Scout, right, needs your Microsoft Intune, where you need to register all your company's Windows computer or laptops, right? Register the devices onto the cloud, part of the Windows 365 or even Azure, and also take managed by Microsoft Intune. And this Scout, right, is to really help handle that. Okay, and this Microsoft Scout, I can tell it's powered by OpenClaw. You guys have heard of OpenClaw? OpenClaw is like that very dangerous um, open source agent, or the platform, the AI that is that has the power to really scan and run and even detect any anomalies or weaknesses in your code, weaknesses in your security, whom you claim to be secure, but then OpenClaw can do that. All right. So there's a question: is OpenClaw safe to use? Now, OpenClaw, I cannot say the word safe or not safe, because OpenClaw, right, it depends on implementation. Remember that OpenClaw is just a tool. It's a platform with a tool, right? Tool running on the platform. It's free for you to use, but you need really good technical expertise to really know how to implement OpenClaw. There are many solutions out there, okay, which are powered by OpenClaw. You can develop your own solution using OpenClaw. Even Microsoft quietly in the background actually adopts OpenClaw. Right? I can show you. I can prove to you. This is nothing that I am just going to talk only, but I can prove to you. Now, I don't mind showing you my Microsoft 365 Admin Center because I am a technical person myself. So I'm the main administrator of my company's Microsoft 365. So this is my Microsoft 365 Admin Center. The only administrator can come in here. Now, if you look into my agents under Agent 365, apart from all other agents, I've got something called Shadow AI today. Shadow AI, when I go in, check this out, guys. I've got OpenClaw running. Nobody told me this because, of course, we are Microsoft certified partner and we've got the Frontier running. We are part of the Frontier program, right? So OpenClaw is already running, and can you see it's scanning? Detected devices, I've got 0. I haven't set it all up yet, but like I say, it's continuously scanning. Scanning for any vulnerabilities, any cybersecurity threats, and all that. And even says coming soon, right? We got Olama Desktop and Poe. These are all also open source. I used to talk about Poe, part of the Hugging Chat, all that. So these are all very, very, very open source stuff. And even Olama as well, right? So these are all coming soon, and Microsoft is quietly doing all this. So only the administrator, the IT person who comes in here, right, has the right to question Microsoft. Hey, how come you never tell me this? How come you never notify me that you have implemented this? But it's part of my Microsoft 365. So I can actually go into my OpenClaw, and you can see detected devices and any security policies. So I can block it. That's the only thing. See, I need Microsoft Intune policies. I can apply my own policy, get OpenClaw, right, to detect whether my policy is good or not, right? And also help me refine my policies. Else, if you say that, I got bored with you, I can just tick here and block OpenClaw. That's it. If I do not want it to scan and all that, right? But like I said that, I just let it continuously running here because so far I never register any of my devices. So I let OpenClaw just continuously running it. And it's never ending, The scanning happens 24 by 7, 365 days a year. Never stop. Right? It never run out of fuel. It looks like it's powered by nuclear fuel, so something like that. And these are things again that Microsoft is doing right now behind the scene. A lot of things is hidden. That's why they have got something called Shadow AI. It's running as a shadow. Okay. So what we know of is only the Copilot, that powers, all their suite of products, all their development platforms, all their business platform. So these are all the solutions that Microsoft has, okay? So when we explore Copilot solutions, so what is Microsoft Copilot? I do not need to tell you that. What are the key experiences? Of course, it all started with the Copilot chat experience. right? And within that, you got Microsoft 365 Copilot. The Copilot chat is the front interface, right? And behind that, right, is also where they apply on top of Microsoft 365, namely all your Word, Excel, PowerPoint applications, your Outlook, your Microsoft Teams, OneNote, SharePoint. So when you see Microsoft 365 Copilot, they are talking about the Copilot that can live inside every one of your 365 apps. Like Word, you got Word Copilot. Excel, you got Excel Copilot, right? PowerPoint has its own and all that. So that's where you've got the small Copilots, running around within the apps. But of course, what powers that is the main chat interface. And then I told you about Copilot Studio, right? This was very dangerous, I realized again that there was once again that I got I wouldn't call that horrible experience, but it was a great learning experience. There was heart thumping in the first place because we had this experience where initially we thought that the client wanted a Microsoft 365 Copilot training. On the training day itself, we went over to the client's place only to find out that, what? They are talking about Copilot Studio, because when we went into the room, they put in the title of the training, right? They stick that particular label at the door of the room. And based on the title of the training, they put their Copilot Studio. I was stumped. So that was when I realized that, hey, this is actually our responsibility as a training provider to enlighten all our customers. So whenever they wanted, they are inquiring about any Copilot trainings, I'll say, whoa, hold on. Can I ask you a question first before I answer you? Are you looking for Copilot training or Copilot Studio training? Then it will spark the client to ask me back, oh, got difference, ah? I say, yes, of course got difference. That is where it gives us the opportunity to explain Copilot Studio. It's like an agent builder, right? It's for you to build your agent, right? So before that, you learn how to build an agent, all your, participants, right? All your candidates, are they equipped already with extensive knowledge about Copilot? Do they know very well the Copilot? If not, you go to Copilot first. Then slowly you venture into learning how to build your agents and all that. Okay. In fact, agent building is one of the key topics and key popular training topic today, right? Not just standard Copilot. All right. Okay, so like I said, that Copilot Chat, Copilot in your Microsoft 365 apps, specialized agents. Now, Microsoft gave us two specialized agents which are installed by default. One is called Researcher and the other one called Analyst. Now, if you're to look at my 365 Copilot here, you can see that I've got Researcher and Analyst here. These were the two pioneer agents that made an appearance. But after that, right, today we got so many agents, right? Now, I do have my premium license. That is why I've got full-blown agents available here. So if I go to more agents, you can see that all the agents that I have activated, right? I've got my learning agent, I got my Word agent, PowerPoint agent, Excel agent, I got learning coach, idea coach, career coach, writing coach, even the prompt coach is here. I've got a specialized Copilot with GPT 5.1. I got Copilot with Claude, specialized agent, right, which are mini-fight type of Copilot, right, specifically targeted to perform a particular task. For example, the researcher. The researcher, right, is from the name, you know that this guy actually does deep research. You do not click the researcher like this, and the prompt that you're supposed to send to the researcher, right? Don't ask him to write me an article about this. If you do this, right, you are killing a mosquito with a cannon, You don't need to kill a mosquito with a cannon. So because the researcher, right, is a special agent that is used to really do extensive research. For example, they give you some suggestion here. Look at that. Explain complicated ideas, comparative analysis, industry benchmarks. Now, I give you one example, all right? I did one live show during one of my training last time. I need to actually warn that this researcher agent, once you set it off, right, the fastest time that I've actually, depending on my topic, okay, again, depending on the topic, depending on the task I give, the fastest I've experienced is 15 minutes still. Average waiting time for the researcher to complete the entire task, right? It's around half an hour. Okay. Now, what I did is this. I told researcher, right, do a research, okay, for me about the top 3 property development and construction companies in Malaysia. I want an extensive report, okay, about their market share, their revenue, right, their top 3 key projects, their net profit, their whatever. I give all the insights there. So this means, right, I want this researcher to go all out to the public internet, scour around all the websites, and compile into an extensive report. And when it came back half an hour later, when it completed, I checked the source website. They have ventured into 100 old websites just to gather all this information. I checked the sources, right? And then the report which I was given, when I export it into Word document, right, I get a 29-page long report. That is what the researcher can do. And today, this researcher, look at this. The model, obviously, we can actually do an auto. Okay, the auto is here. And when we click the auto here, now this is going to be cool. You see, the researcher today can choose something called critique mode. The critique mode, right, is whereby you can say GPT will be the one that is going to do the research, right? Once the response is returned, they will be further refined by Claude. Or you can choose the model counsel mode. Model counsel mode, right, is whereby your prompt, right, your research prompt will be sent to 2 models and processed at the same time. GPT is going to run, Claude deep reasoning is going to run at the same time. Then when the response came back, you got to see 2 copies and you can then select whichever one you like. Right? This is actually one very cool thing, especially I like the critique. And because of this critique mode, right, you know what? OpenAI was kind of mad at Microsoft because OpenAI says, why is it that your critique mode is the one that says GPT responses but refined by Claude? Why can't it be the other way around? Claude is the one responses, but GPT go and refine it. Like this also that Sam Altman go and be jealous, kind of like mad, and seek Microsoft to explain and all that. But Microsoft doesn't really care, right? Because apparently Claude, it means that Claude is much more better. It's much better in refinement, all right? So for the question, if we compare to ChatGPT, which research more accurate? Now, I can tell you, right, that it will not be a head-on battle. It depends, okay? Now, the research, right, you can actually fire. Let's say, for example, you're talking about not the free ones, all right? You have to be a ChatGPT Plus subscriber as well, at least, so that you can access the deep research use of 5.6 or whatever. Let's say you copy and paste the same prompt into ChatGPT, and then you also run that on Researcher. Now, I can tell you, okay, the speed may be somewhat the same. I don't know who's going to be slower, who's going to be faster, right? But the quality, the response coming back, right, definitely will be different. You know that in AI, right, you can never reproduce the same thing, right? All right. Even though you copy and paste the prompt yesterday, I typed this prompt, right? I run it, I got this result. Today, I copy the same prompt, I open a new chat, okay, and paste it. I run again, I'll get a different thing, all right? Because generative AI is using probability prediction, so they will never always create exactly the same thing, right? This will never happen, even though you copy the same exact word by word, right? It's going to be a similar prompt, but you run it now. Don't talk about tomorrow. 1 hour later or 20 minutes later you run, you don't get the same thing. And that's the reason why it's a bit of a challenge for marketing people when you talk about image generation and all that. So there are lots of refinement to do. It's very difficult, okay, for you to get the AI right here to generate the same consistent image, okay, every time. But of course, there are techniques to do that. We talk about seeding reference and all that, right? That is on the imagery side. But in terms of textual, in terms of this, right? It is quite hard to reproduce the same thing, right? So if you ask me the question, okay, which one more accurate? I won't be able to tell you whether accurate or not, because both ChatGPT and Copilot, I would say, right, they will go all out to the public internet and look for information. So it's just that which compilation will sound better to you, all right, depending on what you prompt, right? So that there is no right and wrong here, okay? So I don't see this on mine. Is it available for Copilot for Enterprise with E5 license? Well, it doesn't matter what is your E5 or E3 or whatever license. It's about whether your Copilot is premium or basic. You look at your name down here, okay? Right? Is it bracket basic? Means you never pay. If it's premium, means it's a paid version, right? And even though premium as well, okay, if it's premium, right, it depends also your IT unlock it for you or not. I've actually trained so many different companies, right? Some of them say, hey, I premium, but how come my screen not the same as yours? I say, because I unlock fully. I'm the administrator of my own company. I fully unlock everything. And furthermore, I'm a Microsoft certified partner. We are in a training industry. So I have to have running everything fully unlocked so that I can showcase everything out there for my customer, right? But in real industry, your IT will come in, definitely lock this, lock that, so that, of course, for data privacy, compliance, governance, whatever, right? So they may not actually unlock all the key agents for you, right? So you may not have all this, okay? And of course, even your co-work, you say I can go to co-work. Your co-work may not be also nice. And co-work is the one that now allow you to choose Opus 4.8 for Claude. I got Claude Sonnet 5, even GPT 5.5. Now, I wonder 5.6 hasn't made it here, but to my surprise, the famous Claude Fable 5 is already available here. Okay, it is still in preview, but Fable 5 is the most powerful. It's the closest to the AGI experience model. That was what Anthropic claimed, right? But I can access Claude Fable 5 here in my co-work. But today co-work is chargeable, so I don't dare to do anything here because I prompt a little bit of things here. It consumes some credit. 1 credit is 1 US cents. So if you consume 400 credits, okay, that's $4, $4 US already, right? If you consume 1,000 credit, that is 10 US dollar, all right? So that's how they charge your co-work because it takes a lot of brains behind the scene to help you achieve something, all right? So please take note that whatever things you see on my screen, it may not be the same as yours because mine is fully unlocked. Okay, I have whatever Microsoft give me, I just throw it out. I just unlock it and I can access everything. Okay, and furthermore, of course, as a trainer, I need to have everything here so that I can show to people what you can have, what you may have, and what you may not have. Okay. All right. So, yep. Like I said, that I just want to top up, okay, with this showcasing of Copilot here and there because, like I said, that the capabilities of each of the Copilot, I will do that in the afternoon session. That's for the AB 7:30. This 7:31, I'm not supposed to show anything here. I just got to talk and talk and talk. You guys do the sleep and sleep and sleep. But I do not want that to happen, you see. Even though this training is supposed to be like that. For leaders, I just need to do all the talking and you guys need to do all the sleeping and thinking. But it wouldn't be fun, right? So that is why I chose to at least talk about the products that they have, and you can see something, I do not want you guys to suddenly, nothing to see, and so then you guys will all leave, you see. So again here, mapping business processes to Copilot solutions. Now, especially if you are really a business leader, all right? A leader in your unit, your department, your company, right? You are one of the decision makers, and you are trying to think about how AI, or especially in Microsoft's AI, will help drive transformation in your company. So let me show you. Is there a slide for this? Mapping processes. I think it's just only here, right? So they want you to they kind of like guide you. Start with all your business processes that will impact your revenue. We call this as the key process, right? Depending on what your company does, like I said, of course, you should be able to identify what would be the key processes in your company that will impact and drive revenue the highest. that will impact compliance or impact customer experience. And these are the areas, right, will often deliver the highest ROI when you see the opportunity to automate it with Copilot. So for example, document heavy processes that relies on generating and creating a lot of documents. So today you can establish drafting policies using Copilot to help draft, like proposals, reports, executive summaries, whatever. Okay, that's number one. Number two, data heavy processes. Data heavy means, okay, you handle lots of numbers. Those data would be in your databases. The data would be in the form of your Excel file, your CSV. So you use the data to do forecasting, to do budgeting, or to do some form of performance analysis. These are areas where Copilot can help you as well, right? And finally, communication heavy or meeting heavy, right? So you always meet, whether virtually or physically. So meetings such as maybe to drive like strategy sessions, progress updates, follow-ups, all these things. Again, you can use Copilot to help you record as well as perform recaps and all that. So again, just like our current session here, okay, as I am recording this, there's also transcription. Now, once this session ends, I can still, let's say tomorrow, when I open up this particular meeting again, I can launch my Copilot and I just say, recap this meeting, right? So one of the most beautiful thing about the Copilot in Teams is that, for example, can you imagine you are late for a meeting? Let's say the meeting starts at 10 a.m., okay, but you join in 10:30 a.m., so you are half an hour late for the meeting. Last time when you join in the meeting, you say, oh, I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry, I'm late. So today when you join in the meeting late also, right, people are talking, they're doing all that, right? You don't need to interrupt them. You just launch your Copilot, right, and talk to Copilot by typing there, what did I miss? And you press enter. And Copilot will start showing you from 10 a.m. the starting until you just come in, right? Okay, these are the things that has been discussed. Who say what? Who has made what decision? Any action item being assigned or not? Any open action item or that for the past 1 hour? For the past half an hour. So during live session, live meeting, Copilot already running. But once the meeting ended, let's say last month, I did this before, I had one interview, okay, before, virtual interview with a candidate, right? And it was like a month later, and I kind of like wanted to, because in the first place, I KIV that candidate first. But after that, I was thinking of revisiting that KIV candidate. So I siphoned through my Teams meeting, and I get Copilot to help me recap the meeting. That's it. Right, and the Copilot said, "Hey, this was 1 month ago, so I cannot remember the things being discussed, whatever that she mentioned to me." So I just asked Copilot, what did she say about her own personality? What did she mention about her own qualification? Overall, give me a summary of what she mentioned during the interview. Right, I'm trying to hire this chief animation officer or chief marketing officer. Do you think that this candidate, okay, is suitable for the job? Here's the resume. And on top of the meeting during the interview, if you are the interviewer, would you hire him or her? That's how you can talk to Copilot, right? Not just summarize this, summarize that. I hate this again when people open a report, always just summarize this for me. What else? You got no more idea using Copilot. Just summarize. And summarize also, right? What do you mean by summarize this? Okay, again, I give you one scenario. You open a Word document, 20 pages long. The Word document is 20 pages long. So, and you immediately launch Copilot and say, summarize this for me. Hello, 20 pages long. Even you ask Copilot to summarize also, right? The summary wouldn't be short, huh? Correct not? 20 pages long, you summarize also at least 5 pages lah, let's say. Correct not? So say something better, right? Summarize this, right, in no more than 500 words. Put a limit. Just say summarize. I really cannot brain that. Right? And another one, you open an annual report. Let's say you work for, what do you call that? MNC. Or maybe you work for a public listed company. Okay, a Berhad. Right? Every year you got annual report, right? Okay. Let's say you are the COO, Chief Operating Officer, okay? And now you open this 140 pages long annual report. So TLDR, right? All these are TLDR. Too long, don't bother to read, or TLLR, too long, lazy to read, okay? So don't just say summarize. When you open this annual report, you attach it to Copilot, you prompt Copilot, don't just say summarize anymore. Just say that, I am the COO, okay? Give me top 3 or give me top 5 or top whatever number lah. Give me top 5 key insights about this annual report that is of interest, that is of importance to me as a COO. The rest are noise. No need to tell me. That is a better way to summarize. Don't just say summarize. Okay? Or I am the key finance manager in my company. Reading this annual report, tell me what are the key points I should be aware of, that should be interested, okay, as a chief key or a key finance manager should be interested in. So that Copilot will be able to throw away anything else that is not related to you and tell you the key insights. All right? So you see, again, back to prompting. It's all about in the prompt. I always tell users, okay, that, hey, how come my Copilot is so stupid one? How come yours is so intelligent? It's nothing to be stupid or intelligent, right? You cannot blame that. You have to blame your own prompt. Because your Copilot and my Copilot actually is based on the same thing. There are only two differences. I can tell you, your Copilot and my Copilot is the same. There are only two differences. Number one is the way you prompt. And number two is your data and my data are different. Correct? Your Copilot is operating on top of your work data. My Copilot is operating on top of my own work data. So your work data and my work data obviously different lah, right? And then the next thing is what you want to do, the task that you want to give to your Copilot, how are you going to prompt it? Did you give them a very general kind of a prompt, or did you put in all the details? Now, I always tell this to my customers, right? I'm supposed to do this. I'll repeat this again in my afternoon session for the AB 730. But Microsoft's 4 key element for prompting is called GCSE. You can always remember this because it sounded like IGCSE without the I only lah. Okay, it's GCSE. G, goal. C, context. S, source. E, expectations. Your prompt must fulfill these 4. You must have these 4 elements. Number 1, your prompt obviously must have a goal lah. You must tell Copilot what you want it to do. What's your main objective? What is your mission, right? Number 2, context. Now, context is where you give more details. Context is where you give the scope of operation. And of course, context and source, right? Okay, it's related also, somewhat related, because the source is where you upload files, you upload your meetings or email messages, and that is where the scope, where the knowledge must be grounded in. So whatever that you prompt, right, that you want to achieve, you mention in your goal, and then the context, you give the details, the extra dimensions, okay, that you want to put into your goal, right? That's under context. And here is the source that I want you to look for. Here is a source that I want you to ground yourself to. Or whatever I want you to help me do, right? These are my example. These are my sources that you can find. And finally, expectation is where you put in other aspects, okay, that you want to help Copilot to refine for you. Expectations is when you put in your key constraints, any restrictions or not, any format that you prefer. Like for example, I wanted you to output into a table format. That's expectation lah. Because based on the goal, right, you can the fella can give you a lot of things, but then if you want it to table, say la table. I don't want bullet, I want numbered list, or vice versa. I want numbered list, I don't want bullet point, right? And then restriction, expectation also, the tone, make it friendly. I don't want too professional. I want formal, but not too casual, something like that. Right? And my target audience, they're all general public, Don't sound so technical. These are called expectation. So when your prompt fulfills GCSE, you're there. That's good, okay? So that is actually how Microsoft guides you. Now, if you can, I dare you, you just go on to Microsoft Learn, right? Look for the part on prompting, right? They will tell you about GCSE, goal, context, source, expectations. That's confirmed, all right? I'm not lying to you, okay? You can go online and read about it, okay? So that's Microsoft's prompting guide on the best and the most effective way to tap into the full power of your Copilot, okay? So extending and customizing a Copilot, obviously, well, we are talking about the agents, okay? This is where you use Copilot Studio to build your agent. That's how you can extend your Copilot experience, whereby you sometimes think that this Copilot, right, is just too general, right? And even if I use the built-in agents by Microsoft, it doesn't fulfill my own expectation. So nowadays, right, I train also quite a lot of people who wanted to learn how to use Copilot Studio to build an agent. All right. Now, agents such as, for example, I want to create a customer service agent, right? Or let's say again HR, right? And you want actually an AI, right, that will help answer all sort of HR related questions, especially new joiners to your company. And these joiners, they are not familiar, they are new to the company. So they in their head, there should be many questions, right? Like for example, what is lunchtime? When is bonus day? What is my promotion career path? What is my salary, advancement rate? What is my total leave in a year? Something like that. All these based on your policies, right? So what you can do, you can create an agent using Copilot Studio, right? What you do is that you upload all your key HR policies, like the absent policies, all right, remuneration or claims policy, whatever policy files, you upload to the agent. These files will become the knowledge of your agent. That means what you are doing here, right? You are training your new agent, right, by grounding its knowledge based on only the files you upload. Then when the agent is deployed, it runs, any interaction with your agent knows how to answer the user because the answer will all come from and strictly bound by the knowledge from your files. So you see that there's opportunity to build so many different types of agents, right? Agents that serve a certain purpose, not like the Copilot who is ever all-knowing one, right? The Copilot is like God one. It's like the full encyclopedia A to Z. Everything around the world the fellow knows, right? Jack of all trades. But is it master of none or master of one or two? No. So you want to create an agent that is targeting, focusing on a specific topic, or you want to create an agent, right, that is autonomous, it's agentic. Agentic means, right, the agent are able to even achieve tasks, do things for you, not just answer question. I told you earlier before, right? Today, people wanted to learn how to actually create an agent that start doing things, just like, the co-work, all that, right? Those are where the AI is going to do things for you, no longer just Q&A. The Q&A way, right, is how we started like at least 4 years ago. I always, when I started training ChatGPT last time, I did train ChatGPT. I asked anyone can tell me, what do you use ChatGPT for? Number one response I can tell you until today is number one in the ranking. Cannot beat down one is help me write email. That's number one. Everybody say the same thing one, right? Write email. Oh, so you use the AI only to write email? What other things? Don't know. All right. So ultimately, let's talk about write email. Okay. So you prompt the AI. In this case, let's not talk about ChatGPT. Copilot can do the same thing, right? You can talk to Copilot chat. Help me draft an email about so and so to this person and all that. Okay, you give all the details and you know the answer. You know the response you're going to receive. The response is just a complete email body. That's it. Correct? That is the default chat. But if your agent, right, can perform tasks, can you imagine this? You talk to the agent, you say that, help me write this email about something and, send to this person. So the agent will help draft the email, and after that, they will ask you, do you want me to send for you? You just say yes, and they will run a workflow in the background and send the email for you. That's the task they will do. All right? Q&A, right, is the thing of the past. It's just like talking to ChatGPT, or even help me plan a travel, itinerary for a 5 days trip to Thailand, something like that. So the fellow will come up with the itinerary, what time to what time, go where, and all that, the places of interest. That's it, just travel itinerary. But today, fast forward, if we talk about the agent that can do that, right? After the travel itinerary come out, then the next thing the agent will ask you, do you want me to help contact all the hotels involved and book for you? At the same time, right, do you want me to go and connect to the airline company and help you book flights? Do you want me to also connect to all the car rental companies in Thailand and help you start, booking or renting a car? You see that? So these are tasks that people are looking for right now. They're already bored with all AI training, same thing. Teach me how to prompt only. Even though, yes, there are still demand. Yes, I still train this. How do I use Copilot effectively? How to prompt effectively? I train this a lot, yes. But those who came to learn agents, they want to learn the key skills on how to get started using Copilot Studio, start extending, and hopefully one day, how do I get my agent to help me perform something? Like, for example, very simple, don't say booking, hotel, all that. Very simple one, okay? It's, I create an agent, right, that I can ask a question about some data from my database. So it connects to a data, let's say it's an Excel file or whatever, and they will actually show you these are your data. Then you can say, can you help me change this? Can you help me update this? Can you help me insert a new record? So your agent is going to do that on behalf of you. It's going to connect to the back-end file, right? And do all the inserting new record, updating record, deleting record. These are simple things that will pave the foundation of you understanding what the agent can do. And there are many, many more, but this is just fundamental, right? So the AI transformation today, right, is not just talking about everyone knows Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot. These are all chatbots only. They're all chatting, right? But today, there are key things that you can do. Watch this also. Let me show you one more. For those of you who have actually accessed Copilot for a couple of years already, since the infancy, since it started, right? Now, when your Copilot used to be a button here, right? Today, the button of Copilot is at the bottom here. Because in my case, I've got Claude, I've got Perplexity also running as an add-in in my Word. So now, the Copilot, when you click, okay, so of course, I always wrongfully click on docking. So the Copilot panel comes out. Can you see that Copilot today, right, has got two modes, Last time it's only chat only. Last time there's no such thing called a drop down here. Last time it's only chat. So whatever you do in this panel, right, is usually asking question about the document. You only use this panel last time, right, to when you open an existing document with something there, and this is where you ask it, please summarize for me, right? And please help me understand paragraph number 4. So it's only asking question. But today, you have this thing called allow editing mode. This is last time called word agent, all right? And this is also, you describe what you like to edit. Okay, for example, I can immediately say, okay, write an article, okay, about the impact of cryptocurrency to Malaysia's financial market in 2026. In no more than 500 words. I don't want too long. When you say write an article, please specify a limit. If not, the fella will go and go and go until the cow come home. So I will say in no more than 500 words. Just a simple one. So I'm going to click on here. Last time you can do this, right? Okay, whereby they're going to write everything inside this panel, and you still need to copy and paste. But today you can see it writes here. All right. So when it's in editing mode, they're going to write immediately here. So it's still writing. You can see that. It's still coming out. All right. So that's it. Done. So if you like it, you can just click done. If you don't like it, you can undo. So I click done here, right? And you know what? Let's say, for example, this part here, I can highlight this paragraph. And I can also directly edit with Copilot here. I can describe, make it shorter, or make it sound better, or auto-write, whatever. I just say, make it shorter. And they're going to also update here, which they're going to update this paragraph to make it shorter. There, shorter already. Okay. You want it, you can click done. If not, you can undo and go back to the previous. Okay. So the editing here is really, really powerful, right? Because this is where I can, even if I do not highlight anything, I can just say, go to the third paragraph, right? Shorten it to only 2 sentences, something like that. Or maybe I go to the 4th paragraph, convert the whole thing into a table, right? For example, if let's say I do not know whether these are convertible to a table or not, maybe in this case, I highlight this part, right? Edit with Copilot. I just say that make it a table. See whether they can put things into a table or not. If they can, they will construct it. There you go. So they will show you all the different areas and then the impact in a table format. That's it, done. Because it's everything is just paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. Doesn't look like, doesn't look nice lah. So I can have a table, all right? So these are key features, okay, that they have improved so far, okay, based on the editing mode. Now, if you launch your Excel, the Copilot in Excel is even better. Got 3 modes, you know. You got, okay, apart from chat only and edit mode, they also got plan. The plan mode only available in Excel. The plan mode is like this. Before I ask you, when I prompt you, I want you to do this thing and do that thing for me. Because the edit mode, they will immediately apply the changes directly onto your spreadsheet. But if you say plan means, I want you to help me, okay, all justify, okay, and show me all the responses, all the things that you're about to do in a plan. So at least I review first, and then only when I give you the green light, I say, okay, go ahead, apply it for me now. Then only you apply. I do not want you to directly go and edit. So that's a plan mode. So this is actually doable, right? If I launch, let's say, Excel. Today, Excel is quite crazy because last time it doesn't work because today, let's say I open a blank book. What can I do with a blank book? I launch my Copilot here. So you see, I got allow editing there. I got plan. I got chat only. Only Excel got this plan mode. Now, right now, I do not want plan. I want to directly edit. You know why? Because I got no data, right? You know what I want? Okay, create a table with 50 customers. Let's see whether they're going to do that or not. So, okay, the file has unsaved changes. I need to save the file before Copilot can operate. So, I just click save. I'm going to save it to, let's say, on my desktop. Where's my desktop? My desktop is here. Okay. Book 1. Okay, fine. Lazy to rename. Oh, no. Okay. Just yes. Lazy to give it a name. So after save already, okay. Open up again. Okay, just now I haven't saved, so whatever I've done, it's not there. So let me try again. Blank, so I just say, create a table with 50 customers. I'm lazy to even tell him what kind of columns. If I don't give the details of the columns, I want to see what Excel can do for me. It says the workbook is empty, so I'm adding 50-row customer table with practical sample fields, formatting it. Look at that. Because I never give him details, right? Because, see? Immediately, look at that. They just generated some dummy data for me. Customer ID, first name, last name. And you see, auto-formatted it as a table. Because I say table, ma. Look at that, man. This is cool, right? And you can see that the first customer is what and all that. So you like it, you click on done. That's it. All right. Yeah, it's really mind-blowing because of when it started, I told you I always complain the Copilot for Excel. Because that Copilot, right, it's stupid. It's seriously stupid. Every time I say, can you help me create this? Oh, sorry, I cannot do that right now. Then I said, can you help me to format, the background color? Oh, I cannot do that right now. Then I was so angry, I typed in there, then tell me what can you do now? Because I'm lazy to guess already, right? But today it's seriously mind-blowing. So if you got one, and someone, can you see that they renamed the sheet for you, customers? And you know what? I'm so lazy until add a new sheet for me, okay, with 50 rows of products. Let's see this. I say add a new sheet for me some more. I am even lazy to click the plus sign to create a new sheet. I prompt everything for Copilot. Add a new sheet for me with 50 rows of products. So they're adding product data. You can actually see their reasoning, their thought process. Okay, there you go. Immediately, no problem. Okay, sample products. New sheet. Customers here, products here. You like it? Click done. Right? So this is how we can easily get sample data today. Because last time, okay, like many years ago, when I built my own courses and I need to create exercises, I need sample data. Wow, that was really, really taxing, I tell you. I always go online, to public data sets. I go to Kaggle, look for some people to share data set. I need to look for sample data. And the sample data cannot be too dummy. I want it to be dummy, but not too dummy. But today with AI, right, I can just like this, just say that I want synthetic data, and if you want to be more realistic, you prompt more details. Explain what type of data. Like for example, I want products, right? I didn't say any products. So they sound anything, and the product name can be anything, see? But if I want, right, I can just say, put in 50 products. The products must be FMCG-based products. It can be comprised of beverages and cookies and all that, right? And the name of the products, right? Think something beautiful out of it. So give more details, give more context to it. Then they will act upon what you want. But if I just say 50 products, then Copilot will do and make their own decision. Look at that. Okay. And based on this, right? Okay. You know what? Since I'm already very, very, excited and already in the hot, quite hot, running this demo, all that, right? Now, watch this. Now, add a new sheet with 100 rows of orders, which is related to the customers. Because I got orders, I got customers, I got products, right? I need orders ready. Now, maybe I put 1,000 rows. Oh, no, 1,000 too many. Maybe 500 will do. 500 rows of orders, right, which is related to the customers and products. I just say like this, Excel will understand, that means the orders table contain the rows, which customer buy what product lah. Confirm one, right? Let me spell correctly and do. All right. Check this out. Once I got this data, right, I can even generate charts, report one, immediately using Copilot. So I'm actually doing things which is for my AB 7:30 this afternoon, 2 o'clock. And I'm doing it now here for you all. But I just pity, sometimes, this AB 731 is so boring. Okay, good. You can see I've got orders. Ooh, really? You see, I got order date, customer ID, and the order ID, right? And somehow or other, right, they added a cover sheet in front of. Can you see? Just now, there was no cover. Now, let me go to a cover. Wow, look at that, man. They even add a cover. They see that I've completed. I got customer, I got product. Now, since you add order, I add a cover in front. The cover is like a description. Link sample there. Customers, they explain. 50 customer records, product is what, orders is what. I never tell you lah. You even decided for me that it would be best if I give you a cover sheet so you can package this as a very nice workbook. Okay, I like it. I click done. And you know what? Finally, in the orders here, right? Okay, let's say create or maybe suggest me 2 different visualizations which I can build in a new sheet based on the data which I have now. So you can see that. Suggest me two different visualizations we can build. So they say that sales by product category, like a chart or what, monthly or that. Wow, okay, they suggest because I say suggest, ma. Okay, you know what? I like this. Now build these two visualizations for me in the new sheet. They suggest me, based on the data, they say, okay, maybe you can do this report. Monthly order revenue trend, sales by product category. Okay. Then I say, now build these two visualizations for me. You see, I've never touched anything, Everything from zero to hero is all in my Copilot panel. I never touch anything on myself. I only click here, that workbook, click this worksheet, click that worksheet, have a look here, have a look there. And everything I interact only typing and talking to this Copilot. All right. And yes, Joe, you're right. This feature only available with paid Copilot plan. Basic plan will not have this. Yes. Basic plan, right? You only have the chat only the chat. So can you see now I've got a fifth one called visualization. Now they even update the cover, update the cover as sheet called visualization will be two charts. Let me go to visualization. Ulama, look at that. They even created a pivot table for me. This sales by product category is from here. This month order revenue trend is from here. Look at that. Okay. So if you like it, just click done. Yeah, cool. And you know what? I wonder whether this one's still okay or not. See, I've got January 2025 until December 2025, right? Okay, you know what? One final demo on this. Based on this, let's say, monthly order revenue trend, comma, okay? Give me a 1 month forecast. Or don't say give me 1 month forecast. Okay, give me a forecast for next month. Simple, natural language. I say based on this one, right? 12 months, right? Okay, give me a forecast of next month. So there, based on that reason in one step, so they say, oh, result forecast, they give me a formula instead. Added it to the visualization. Is it added? Oh, they added it to the table here. Is it? Then next month forecast, is that 4,000? Oh, okay. So until December 2025, but next month forecast, they added here. They somehow rather use this formula to calculate the forecast using linear forecasting. They say it will be 4,000. That means a drop. You see that? Wow, not bad, huh? So yeah, if you like it, you can click done. But I was thinking of adding it to the chart, okay, but I didn't really tell it. I just said, give me that, and then they added it to the table instead, okay? Even forecasting also, they're using linear regression, linear forecasting, right? I could have said the next 3 months, maybe, So I say done. And maybe, yeah, I think I can still undo. Can I undo? I can still undo. Now I say based on the monthly for the next 3 months. Let's see how powerful they are able to generate next 3-month forecasts. If you're doing Power BI, yes, we're talking about DAX lah. You have to remember the formulas lah. Now, if you got Power BI, also got the Copilot in there, right? Wow, you no longer need to use your mouse lah. Create your reports lah here and there. Even data cleansing can all be powered by Copilot. Your dirty data, clean it for me. Check for me which are the areas need to be cleansed. You help me decide, clean it for me. And then all the other tables, okay, create all the proper relationship. Once relationship done, right, suggest me a full page report. I want 6 different charts. Tell me what are the insights. The things I say here, right, it would be exactly the thing I've demonstrated before, I showcased before. You can see that. Next 3 months, based on this one, it says here, January 26th. Okay, so they say added 3-month forecast. So, but apparently the 3-month forecast they have added to the table again. But let me move this chart to the bottom. You can see that. I think it's covered it. So let me move the chart. You can see that. So they have added January, February, and March 26 forecasts. So it's dropping, right? So I do not know, based on the formula of linear forecasting, they forecasted that because they ended like this, so it will be dropping. Okay, because they look at the trend as well. So sales are kind of like not really steady, then drop, then rise a bit. So they projected by the next year it will drop again, like this. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I've actually kind of like done something extra on top of my presentation here, which is just to showcase to you what Copilot is all about. And as a leader, you can see what can benefit your people who are using Excel or your Word, speaking of last one, okay, I still got time, don't worry. How about PowerPoint? Haven't done PowerPoint, huh? Okay. Now, I've got an Excel file called book 1. Okay, good. Impact of cryptocurrency? No, don't save. I don't want this. Okay. Let me dismiss the PowerPoint slide. I no need to talk PowerPoint slide already. Okay, now we are all very, very hot about all this demo. Make it more fun, right? So what I want to show you is this. Hang on, let me give me a second. I want to pull something out that will help me showcase PowerPoint slide. Okay, there are 2 ways that I want you to look into in terms of PowerPoint. Okay, first of all, let me get some sample data. Okay, sample files, let's see. Hang on, I'm doing something on my other monitor, other screen. Okay, let me pull this out for you. Okay, let me show you this. Let's say I got this Excel file. This is Northwind Traders Q3, quarter 3 sales data. Very simple Excel, even more simpler than mine just now. See, like this. Okay, close lah. Okay, category beverages lah, unit sold lah, profit margin lah, all these things lah. Okay, then I got a year-over-year summary lah, like this. Okay, this is a year-over-year summary. No problem. Okay, now what I'm going to do is that this is a Excel file, right? Okay, terbalik. I do something terbalik. Now I open up Word. I want to show you again back to Word first. Let me show you something whereby I've got this standby prompt lah. I'm supposed to showcase this in the afternoon session again. Yeah. Anyway, afternoon session different crowd lah. So don't worry. I will just give you guys the same benefit here. I'm going to copy one of my prompt. Now, describe what you like to draft, right? So I paste this very long prompt. Look at this. I say, as the COO of Northwind Traders, I need you to create a strategic briefing report for our senior leadership team that's based on the company's Q3 sales performance data. That's based on, okay, this one, Q3 sales performance data. I erase this part. That's based on I put a slash. Then I will select the file. Oh, I have to find, I cannot filter the file here. So there are times, okay, which I don't want to slash here. Hang on. The slash here, right? Cursor, click here, right? The cursor is here. I manually click the plus sign. I cannot. The plus sign, I think, you know what? I don't want to use this. Let me copy this again. I cut it off here. I use the panel better. Because this panel anyway, right, is actually the Copilot editing also. They got an edit mode here, right? Also got edit mode. Let me just expand here a bit. Can you see allow editing? Okay, now I paste here. And then I look for the based on here, right? The based on, the cursor blinking there. I'm going to click this plus sign and I say add work content. There you go. So work content, I'm going to search for Northwind. There you go. Northwind Traders Q3 sales data, the Excel file, So I have attached the Excel file here based on the reference to the Excel file, which can be found, in attached. No need to say which can be found already, because I attach it here based on the Excel file. Okay. So you see my prompt, I attach it directly. This file contains blah, 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 blah. Please create a professional executive briefing report, all that, right? Then you can see at the end, the format of the report should include an executive summary, a bulleted list of key insight, including top performing categories and blah, blah, and a clear year-over-year analysis including charts of revenue and profit growth by category and region. All right? Are you ready to see the magic here? Run this. Watch this, guys. This is going to be cool. Can you see that? It's coming out already. Just based on the data from Excel, I terbalik, From Excel data, I generate a briefing report for my SLT, my senior leadership team. Executive summary, I got key insights. They got draft everything for me. This you can actually submit to your SLT. Wait a minute. Hang on. You see the top process? They say you're going to add chart style summaries. You got YOY here. So you got a table. They also automatically generate a table based on whatever they compile from the Excel file. They also try to create a chart like this. Look at that. Seriously, not bad. It's like a table, and then they draw something here, including a bar. Okay, so they say, let's say I click done lah. I like it. Very good. The whole report. Okay, like this. Not bad. Not bad, right? Okay. Okay, got recommendations some more, Recommended leadership action and all that. Good. I'm going to save this file, guys. I'm going to save this file. I'm going to save this file to the same location where I originally have it, okay? I have it in my Copilot folder. That's for all my Copilot training. Sample files. Okay, I put it here. I call it Northwind Traders Q3 Sales Strategic Briefing Report. Okay, save. That's the title. Sales Strategic Briefing Report. Okay, are you guys ready? So from Excel data, I use Word, attach the Excel as a source, right, for the Copilot in Word to help me draft an executive summary, a sales strategic briefing report. So I got a strategic briefing report. I close this guy. Now I got a report, right? I'm going to go into the meeting with my senior leadership team. So I need PowerPoint ready. Okay. So in my PowerPoint, I'm going to go and launch my Copilot. And I'm going to say, create a presentation, okay, based on, again, I click the plus sign, add Word content, and I'm looking for that. See, created just now, immediately, the latest file I created that I saved on OneDrive, it appears here, based on this file. And I just run it. And they're going to draft and create a full-blown presentation based on the content from my Microsoft Word. That's it. Check this out. So they're going to examine the file. They're going to understand the whole thing. This is one way, right? I'm going to show you another way later. Okay, that is even crazy now. There. This is almost sharing the same traits. Last time, you just ask it to give you a presentation. Yeah, they will try its best. But today, they will interview you first. Look at this. Number one, how comprehensive should this presentation be? You need to answer first. You want it to be concise, between 6 to 8 slides? You want full detail, about 10 to 12 slides? Or executive brief, 4 to 5 slides will do? I say, yeah lah, okay, executive brief can lah, because for leadership action only, but I think concise will do, 6 to 8 lah. Okay, got executive summary and all that, I select concise. Now, how should a growth data be shown? Native charts, data table, or both? I want both. Include charts and table. Who is the primary audience? They ask you for your audience. My audience is senior leadership, of course. Confirm. These will help guide the agent. They are actually launching a Copilot agent, the PowerPoint agent at the back to do this. You're looking at the real agent, in action now. Copilot chat, only chatting, only got question and answer. This agent is now springing into action and perform the task for you, okay? Hang on, just need a little bit of patience here. Wow, I've forgotten, they got another question. Hey, what theme? What visual direction? Let me see this. Okay, that means what kind of visual direction? They're talking about themes. Corporate navy and teal. See, teal accents, light executive slate, warm amber and charcoal, whatever. Maybe corporate navy and or light executive slate. Maybe let's try this. Light executive slate. They're asking for the theme. If you have your own, template, your corporate branding, your logo, the fonts, all that, make sure you don't select blank presentation. You start by selecting your template first, then only you prompt Copilot. When Copilot sees again that you've got your corporate template here, right, they don't ask you so much on the coloring, the theme, and the font, right? But because I started with a blank presentation, of course, they're going to ask me for themes and coloring, okay? That is, if you also have your own brand kit, if you develop your own brand kit directly using Microsoft Designer, then that is also applicable, okay? Okay, so yeah, in the meantime, while waiting for this, let me show you another way to do it, okay, especially premium license people. You see, my premium license, right, I'm not so sure whether you guys get this or not. Now, there are two locations to look for it. Under my agents here, right, if I go to agents, okay, now I can see there's something called Word Agent, PowerPoint is here as well, and Excel is here. Okay, I used to pin this here, but how come it's not pinned already? Let me go to my Word triple dot here. Let me pin it. PowerPoint triple dot, pin it. Excel also pin. I usually pin all these common ones. So yeah, my Copilot here, all this I unpin lah. My Copilot with Claude agent, my 5.1 agent. Okay, I got Word, PowerPoint, Excel, right? So I click on PowerPoint. So directly on my Microsoft 365 chat itself, I look at the agent called PowerPoint. I can do the same thing here, It's exactly the same, right? It's just that this one, right, looks wider, bigger, and you can see the whole thing live in action, right? So let's see. Okay, this guy is still doing it, right? You know what I can do? I can just kind of like copy this. I just want to show you. Copy this and do it directly here. Paste it here, same thing. But this docx, I need to erase it. And then I do a slash and attach it like this. Create a presentation based on, and then attach the physical docx here. Run this. This is launching and talking to a PowerPoint agent direct from my Microsoft 365 chat. Okay. Actually, it's the same line. It's like some people want to do it directly in PowerPoint, right? The app. Some people already in the browser. You see, they also ask me the same thing. What is your preferred presentation focus? So executive summary only, balance overview of performance, and also maybe I say balance overview. Select a length, automatic based on a topic, or concise, or what. I say automatic, read my topic, how much topic I have inside my my Word document, then you just follow that, and immediately the themes. So if you don't like some of the cartoon theme here, right, what you can do is just design for me, right? Based on my topic, right, you kind of like guess the theme that would be suitable for the content that I am discussing, that I'm presenting. Okay, so that's it. I click let's go. So let's see, this one, will it be faster, or because this one has been running for some time already. You see, it says investigating errors, so yeah. Now, if you ask me, is it common that it's going to be so slow? Well, let me tell you, whether slow or fast, right, it's really depending on many factors. It can be like network, it can be whether the data center right now is very busy. It can also depend on your data, is it too many pages in the Word content that is trying to piece together, and yeah, many factors lah. It's hard to say one lah. Okay. There are times I hate it when it is taking so long until the end. They say, "Oh, sorry, I was terminated halfway, and please try again." Well, but I've been waiting like 10, 15 minutes for it, But now only you tell me that you aborted, you terminated the whole thing, and ask me retry, which is sometimes quite frustrating, I would say. So this one is already generating, and you know what? This presentation outline, when I click on this, you can see their thought process and all that. No problem. It's almost the same thing as this one. These are all the thought process as well. I think because of the chart and all that, they are trying to create. ChatGPT can do the same as what you're showing right now, because normally when I ask to do PowerPoint only, correct. ChatGPT doesn't have interaction directly to PowerPoint. So ChatGPT, right? If you use the free ones and you don't have access to the skills, because ChatGPT work today can do this already. Last time the ChatGPT Classic, you can't. They will only generate VBA script for you, ask you to copy and paste it as a macro in PowerPoint and generate that. They cannot do this. You look at this, the PowerPoint agent which I run on my browser already come out. See, look at that. This one already out. But what about the one inside the app? This one still checking lah, checking lah. I think got some problem already inside. But the one on the browser, I use the PowerPoint agent. See, already showing me. Look at that. Really cool, you know. All right. This is real cool, I would say. But ChatGPT, no, you can't do that. But today with ChatGPT work, it's possible for you to do this. Okay. You see, it's created already. And you know what? When they created this, do you know where is this being created? They will store this. Let me show you. It's going to be in your OneDrive. Look for under Microsoft Copilot. Sorry, no. It's going to be in your OneDrive Documents. Go to Documents. And you can see under the folder Copilot, you will see the folder called Created. And then this is the place. You can see Northwind Traders Q3 Sales Strategic Briefing, right? And this is the file that you can open up and edit your own, but it looks like this. Look at that. And also, this one already came out. Wow, you see? Different type. This one show me cookies and cheese and milk, all that. I don't know why lah, right? See, it slides, this one. Let me close the Copilot and you can see this. Ooh, not bad, huh? All right. But one thing that's missing today, right, is the speaker notes. Okay? It's just that the speaker notes are kind of like not here, right? So it's no longer like last time where they generate speaker notes, but you can still do that by going to the Copilot here, right? And you can see there a few directions from here. There, add speaker notes to guide the leadership. They even tell you that. So they have never given the speaker notes as yet. You can continue by telling, give me or add some speaker notes. Each slide add me some narration, all right? So something like that. It can be done. So you can see I've got two ways of doing this, either in PowerPoint or directly on my browsers. So whichever one version or the layout that you like, well, here it goes, okay? Have a great day, guys. Thank you. See you again. Bye-bye.